And that's the reality. So let's conclude this, my good brothers and sisters. You would know if you and I are part of the deen of Allah, the divine social order, because we would be enhancing our lives. We'll be improving the lives of our family. We'll be making a positive difference in the lives of our friends and our relatives and society. But when we are members of a different social order, we are part of the circle where people exploit one another. I trust these words because they are not mine. They are divine words of Allah. Will melt the rock in my heart and your heart and help us to become the people, no matter how small. Great things always start with small people. Leadership does not always have to come from the majority. The majority are not leaders. They have chosen to be followers. At least if we start to be leaders of our own lives, take our lives and be responsible for it. Become responsible for the lives of our children. Look at our children, as I said. What do you want our children to be? What would you like your children to be? What would I like my children to be? Well, I'll tell you. I think you too, but I'll tell you. I have the highest dreams for my children. I have the highest dreams for my children, and I have the same dreams for your children. But I can only encourage you about your children. I have no control over that. Let us all make time. Find time. Don't make excuses. Stop making excuses. I left the Caribbean and I went to Pakistan to study. I didn't make excuse. I am sure many people travel to go and work far away. But it seems that the message of this Qur'an is not compelling enough to make us travel and make sacrifices. We want everything put as drops in our mouth. This is the ease we have learned, and we get what we strive for. Because the Qur'an tells us in chapter 53, verse 39 and 40, وَإِلَّيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. You get what you work for. And whatever you are working for, you will see. And remember, I always say, you don't have to wait till you're dead. Nobody has to wait till they're dead to see the fruits of their efforts. This is not the deen of Allah. This is the placebo of culture. That they make people wait for when they're dead. So that's why some of them kill themselves quickly, so that they can enjoy the paradise and the huris and whatnot. So I leave this with myself and you, knowing that this was the mission of the Messenger of Allah, to bring humanity out of the deen of kings and dictators, of cultures and traditions, and the enslavement of humans into the deen of Allah. Because when you and I are privileged to be in the deen of Allah, nobody can put rings around our necks. Nobody can put wool over our eyes, as we say in English. And we are not part of the exploitation process or the enslavement of other human beings. We are part of the emancipation process. The choice is yours. I hope we can make the right choices. Astaghfirullah li wa lakum wa li sa'ir al-mu'minin wal mu'minati fastaghfiruhu innahu huwal ghafurur rahim. Dear brothers and sisters, reminders benefit people who are very honest and very serious about Iman. I always feel hopeful that as I talk to myself and I talk to you, we are intelligent people. We can sit down. We don't always have the time, but when you're at home, these khutbahs can come to your home. You can sit with your families and you can go through it with a fine teeth comb. I can assure you It's not the kind of khutbahs that give placebos to people. It's the khutbah that makes me wake up and smell the reality of my own life. I hope you and I can do that, because we are worthy and we have beautiful families, nice families. Let us don't leave them uncared for. Food, clothing and shelter and physical amenities are necessary. They're useful. But they are not the big part of life. The big part of life is what the mind does, what the mind builds, and what the mind changes. We ask Allah to bless all the apostles without discrimination, without distinction, and all the messengers for the mission they stood by, the sacrifices they made, the difficulties they endured, and the legacy they have left behind. That people like me and you, in this age, hundreds of years after there, can sit back and reflect. Please let us don't allow their struggles to go in vain. As-salam.